Happy Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in and for choosing to spend some of your time with me. It's your girl, Milagros here. And as we are closing out the month of August, which we have been focused on change, embracing change, participating in change, as we have been focused on that, I got an email last week from a woman the email was basically like, I appreciate all the conversations and I appreciate, the awareness and making me really think about how I think about things. But can you give us a practical tool that we can use when we're actually faced with a problem and how to use that to help us with change? So I have a little tool that I call Identify the Real Problem. And I want to give this to you because I find that this is super useful in little things and in big things. So basically what it is, it's a series of questions that you would just ask yourself so that you can identify what the real problem is. When you come into a situation and you feel overwhelmed or you feel worried or you feel anxious or you feel upset, the question is, why do I feel this way? What's the real problem? Now, I've gotten to the place, fortunately, in my life where I don't really see problems as problems. I see them as opportunities. And you can check out that video at the end. But if you're looking at something and you feel yourself go overwhelmed, rather than just let yourself kind of fester in that feeling, identify what is the problem. Why do I feel this way? And then really let yourself be honest with yourself, which is why last week we talked a lot about honesty, because a big piece of change is being honest with yourself. Is this really the worst thing ever? Well, no. But everybody else is whining about it, so I figure I might as well join. Right? You have to be real with yourself. Do I like doing this activity? No. Then change it, right? That kind of thing. So you have to be really aware and really honest with yourself. For instance, the other day I went to visit someone at the hospital and her food was there, and then I asked her if she wanted me to heat it up, and she said yes. There was a microwave in a room area. So I take the plate and I go to walk out the door, and as I'm walking out the door, I must have not opened it fully enough, and I kind of slipped through the door. And as I slipped through the door, I bumped my arm, and then the glass plate in this container went flying, shattered all over the floor, and her meal was all over the floor. Now, initially, I felt myself but I stopped myself because I'm grown and I practice this now. So I just literally just stopped. I went, what's the problem here? The problem is I dropped the food. Why does that upset me? It upsets me because now she has nothing to eat. Can I resolve this? Yes, I can. What can I do? I can go buy her something to eat. So the nurses came over. I helped pick up, and then I said to the nurse, is there a cath or anything here in the hospital? She said, no, it's already closed. So I said, okay. I went back in. So sorry, dropped your plate. What do you want? And I went out and bought her food, right? We could let ourselves oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that, and get so caught up in that. For what? For what? So instead, what is the real problem here? I'm upset that I dropped the food. Why is that upsetting? Homegirl has no food. Can I fix this? Yes, I can, right? So then when we really take the opportunity to identify the problem, it helps with change. And was it in my plan and in my schedule to go out and buy food? No. But that's part of change. This needs to happen. This will become a resolution to that problem, right? So when we take the time to really ask ourselves those series of questions and identify how we feel, why we feel that way, and whether or not we can resolve it, it helps alleviate a lot of anxiety, worry, and stress. Now, if you can't find a resolution to it, and it's not something that you don't think you can instantly resolve, this is where meditation and surrender comes into play, because you really just have to kind of give it up and surrender it. Does it make sense for me to spend hours on end worried about this thing that I can't resolve? No. Nobody gains anything from worry. As a matter of fact, it destroys your immune system. It lowers your serotonin in your body, increases your cortisol. It makes you spin in your head. You lose sleep. You gain wrinkles. It's bad, bad, bad. So why focus that? Why stay there? Why focus on that thing? Instead, really identify the problem. Ask yourself, what is the problem here? Why am I really upset about this? Or why am I really worried? Or what? Can I create any resolution? No? It's time to give it up. Some meditation, some prayer, or maybe just chanting, I'm going to let that go, I have to let it go, I have to let it go. Because sometimes, too, it'll just keep coming back unless you say, I see you, I know why you're here, but I can't do anything about it right now, so I'm going to go over here and do this thing instead. I'm going to be meditating. I'm going to just pray and just give that up, or I'm going to surrender that, or what have you. So that's the nugget that I have for you this week. when it comes to change, especially change that comes like that, and it feels like overwhelming, really allow yourself to go into it, figure it out, identify it, resolve it, or surrender it, right? Because when we can allow ourselves to do that, that's kind of the practice that comes going with the flow, and it's not something that you can do overnight, especially if you grew up in a family, or you grew up around, or you're spending a lot of time around people who are always freaking out every time something changes or something goes wrong. It takes practice. It takes practice, and you really have to be intentional about wanting to do that for yourself. When you do, and you take that personal responsibility, and you harness that, your own ability to do that, and you cultivate your own happiness and your own peace, that's super sparkly everything. That's staying connected, and that's owning your moment-to-moment life, right? So I hope that this was helpful. If it wasn't, whatever, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you know someone who could benefit from it, please share it. And if you haven't already, what you waiting for? Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe, okay? That's it. I hope you have a great rest of your week and a fantastic, super sparkly, ever-evolving, changing, wonderful, participating, embracing, engaging weekend. Love you. Peace.